Hello, am I audible? Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here amongst so many distinguished other speakers, and nice to be in a college which is very well known for its academic credentials and academic achievements. And I always feel nice to be amongst the youngsters to tell something of what we think we know because of the fact that we are born early and had some experiences in our life in the sector in which we belong. Basically, thanks for the kind introduction the lady has given. All that is, as I say, always that I was born early and hence I had to do many things over the period of life. So in the next 25 minutes, I think that's the organizers have given me. I hope I will stick to the time and talk to you about what are the architectures that we have advocated all along, being in the panel to the Ministry of Urban Development when this whole activity started way back in 2014 under the leadership of the then Minister, Sri Venkaiah Naidu, under the leadership of the Honorable PM when they initiated the work of smart cities. So the smart cities basically is all around these three simple technologies of Internet Protocol, Internet of Things, and Wi-Fi and related wireless technology. I come from the company which is known as a QuadGen wireless, which is the 4th generation wireless. We started this when we saw the growth happening from the minutes era. The society is going to adapt to a megabytes era. That is what we saw the trend happening from a minutes era to a megabytes era. Now we are moving from the megabytes era to a gigabytes era also, because each user is expecting a speed. When you sit on a LAN, you are on a 100 megabit LAN or a 1 GB LAN, and hence your natural expectation is to have a 1 Gbps even on wireless, irrespective of where you are utilizing the devices. The devices have proven to be extremely smart, but the networks that we are using today tend to be termed as dumb networks. So how do we bridge the gap between a smart device and a smart generation, which is an app generation, which wants the information instantaneously through the video as a model of delivery, not as a text, and then move on to have a connected time all the time, wherever, irrespective of the device that we choose to use. We also need to have a smart cities, which the cities that we grew were having copper loops, but the cities that we talk of are now having a fiber loop. That's what our Honorable Chief Minister has got it launched just yesterday. It's very timely that we are holding this seminar here. So a smart city is supposed to be a connected city. A smart city is supposed to be a connected city, not on copper loops anymore, but on fiber grid. A fiber to the loop, a fiber to the curb, a fiber to the home, a fiber to any building of the government office, a fiber to any endpoint of a smart city. So that's the next migration that is we are seeing today in smart city is every endpoint, be it a traffic signal, a video surveillance camera, or an environmental sensor, or a telecommunication point of presence, be it a Wi-Fi or 3G or a 4G access point, the access point or the cell tower should be connected on fiber. The fiber is the de facto media of connectivity. We also are seeing a tremendous change in happening from traditional computing to a cloud computing, because all these apps today that we are using has to go to a cloud computing era. So these form part of the essential blocks of the change in the digital society that we are seeing. the digital age that we are seeing, and the digital India, and yesterday the Chief Minister announced as digital AP, Andhra Pradesh. I think that's where what is the architecture that we are going to see, and smart city is what is going to be the focus of my talk. Next slide, please. A smart city, as I mentioned, is a connected city. A connected city with fiber, not on copper loop. Of course, copper loop also will be used. The so-called dirty buried copper has to be converted into gold with the power of technology. And the technology there is a VDSL technology. So with that technology, the dirty buried copper loops will turn into gold, and that's capable of delivering you a 30 Mbps speed. Apart from having the fiber, which gives the connectivity to go up to the 1 Gbps or 10 Gbps for every home or for every endpoint. A smart city will have sensors. A smart city like Vijayawada may have about 10,000 sensors. The sensors for various things, sensor for video surveillance, sensor for emissions, sensor for humidity, temperature, a sensor for lighting, a sensor for smart bin or smart waste management sensors. You will have many sensors. A city like this, as we modeled it, should have at least a minimum of 6,000 endpoint sensor network sensors to be connected to the command center. We'll talk about that as we go along. Then you will have managed services. Services have to be there. All the services, G2C services, that is what is expected, and that's what the municipal commissioner has addressed when he was talking in his inaugural address just a while ago. So it is basically a connected city, it is a sensor city, it's a managed services. All the services means the application that we have with the government, G2C services, G2G services, and G2B services, all will be delivered through the managed services concept. Be it a birth certificate, a death certificate, or tax collection, you name it, any number of such services are all will be delivered as a managed service through an app system. Next one. The stakeholders are in this is the obviously the different stakeholders will be there, the government, the service providers, the enterprises and citizens. And as I mentioned, these are the 4 pillars on which the smart city should get revolved around. And the elements or the assets or attributes, the infrastructure that needs to be converted from what we have today, the traditional infrastructure has to get converted. The energy sector has to get converted to a smart energy. The security has to go from the current security that we see around the cyber surveillance, has to go towards the cyber surveillance era. The transportation that we see has to be a tracked, smart, intelligent transport. The administration has to be highly agile, responsive, and online administration. Public services has to be there. So these are the 4 the pillars around which all this paradigm has to migrate towards a smart architecture. What it is, we'll see going forward. Next slide. So what we are going to see is that the pillars of smart cities are around the digital future. What is the digital future? The digital future is around analytics. Analytics coming from the sensor world, analytics coming from the infrastructure elements, analytics coming from various components of the technology pillars that I talked about. All that has to come enabled with artificial intelligence and machine learning. Some algorithms will be processed and the triggers will be given so as to take certain actions from the command center so that a proper smart city infrastructure will get evolved. And that is where the whole lot of innovation has to happen. That is where the whole models have to get changed. So the ICT infrastructure has to be around optical fiber, as I mentioned earlier, computing networks, IP MPLS enabled routers and switches, the television, interactive media, and all the types of radio access technologies. Next one. The future that we are talking about is a data-driven future. The data-driven future around these three elements of when you have the city always connected on fiber, copper, radio, the three media, and then you have n number of services connected, n number of network elements which are distributed across the city. You need to have all these, it tends to become vulnerable for any cyber attack. If that attack happens, there is something, let us say the cyber attack happens, then the power systems come down, water grid comes down, or a fiber grid comes down, then there is a problem. So we need to have a critical infrastructure for cyber security. These are the solutions which we need to put in, where a continuous 24/7/365 surveillance has to happen, vulnerability assessment has to happen, penetration testing of the network elements has to happen, hardening has to be assessed, and think of the threat intelligence. Who is likely to attack? From what angle? So you need to build algorithms around the cloud, around the artificial intelligence and modeling, on a proactive mode, so as to collect the cyber threat intelligence and make sure that that forms part of the integral component of a smart city. And of course, a whole host of apps are required. So this is the another data-driven feature of a smart city. Next. The platforms that we are talking about is around the platforms of water, how much of water is getting consumed, where the water demand is there. Similarly, the electrical energy consumption, where, how much, and how to conserve, how to minimize the wastage, all happens on a database-based, sensor-based monitoring, and then actions are taken so that the energy and water becomes the most efficient way of utilization around a smart platform. Every 10th pole, the municipal commissioner was talking about 36,000 electricity poles are there in Vijayawada city. So every 10th pole is supposed to be a smart pole. Right? What is a smart pole? A pole having these sensors, CO2, temperature, humidity, pressure, and any other such